Guys, I don't want to get too dark, but I'm going to talk about one of my fears. I don't know if you guys are similar here. I don't like heights. So I had this horrible experience in New York City. Ed Koch Bridge. You feel like you're 1,000 feet in the air. You're 10th floor of buildings. You're
scared of heights.
I don't mind airplanes. I'm talking about, I then had a hotel room, 22nd floor. My room was so tiny. And the whole time I was in there, I was leaning against the wall, right? I know this isn't how most golf shows start, but this is how this one does.
I'm scared of widths.
And that's our show. Rich Eisen joins us next on We Need a Fourth. Hey, everybody. It's our awesome podcast, We Need a Fourth. I'm Kenny Mayne. So humble I don't get any credits. Then we have Cooper Manning. He's the Manning, more likely to understand what the wine guy is talking about at a fancy restaurant. And, of course, Brian Baumgartner, who you know for his 77 at the old Korson. You probably know him as Kevin from The Office. And this is a huge day for us. I'll just date it. This is not a live show. We're taping this on the very day our show first came out with Eli Manning and Jason Bateman. The whole team's pretty excited. And we got a great guest today.
We gave birth today.
Yeah. And we named him Kenny. I snuck out on Sunday with my wife, which I tried to help a couple times, and she made it very clear, I'm happy. I'm fine. I don't care. And I kept going, well, I mean, if you just did a little this, you could probably, no, I'm perfectly happy. I'm enjoying myself. Just enjoy the day, have a margarita, ride around in the cart, all good. So I kept quiet and, marital bliss.
Congratulations. I played with my group Friday golf. We had a little outing. We play on Fridays, and we're called Friday Golf. Then we had some celebration since we dated the show already. The Emmy Awards last night, and a couple of nights here in beautiful downtown Los Angeles. Great week, really fun.
Sounds like everybody's in a good mood to have a good show, and we're so happy to bring our guest, old friend of mine, old colleague of mine. Back in the ESPN days, Rich Eisen, who left ESPN to do this new thing, this NFL Network thing, and we're like, oh, you guys just going to NFL only? Really? Is that what you're doing over there? And turned out, good call by Rich. He's been the pillar of that thing, truly, the anchor of it, calling games, started his own show, married Susie, has children. Everything's good in Rich Eisen's life, and he's coming to us on the occasion of his mother's 88th birthday. So we appreciate the time, and we welcome Rich Eisen.
Hi, Rich.
Yeah, she's hosting her own podcast called I Need an 88th. That's what she's hosting. So I'm confused. If I'm the fourth, then your first episode with Eli and Jason Bateman, you played as a fivesome?
Nope, two different episodes, back to back, coming out hot. Now, Rich, we like to guess our guests' handicap because somebody said, boy, that'll be interesting when you guys do that. Yeah. So but I'm going to say...
Brian knows.
I know. Brian cheats because he gambles on everything.
No, because we've played together recently.
That's partly why. But I'm going to say you're so damn busy. You got children. You got your mom's 88th birthday to plan for. You got your shows. You got your podcasts.
Yes.
If you get a 90, you're happy. I'm saying you're an 18, and no insult, no judgment.
Ooh, so 88's already taken. So anything between 18 and 88 is wide open. I'll say I'll take one over and go 19, just because Brian is smiling oddly.
Well, because he knows. Brian knows. Brian's played one of my longest rounds in the history of my life with me. We played national recently, and we played it in mid-May, and it was my second round of the year, coming off of my first round of the year the day before.
Oh boy.
So, Brian, the floor is yours. I've set you up. Go ahead.
I think your index. I think they're overshooting your index, right? If I recall,
I don't play enough for me to put it into the computer. I never do it. You know what I mean? I don't take the time.
I think you guys are about spot on there. I think you were getting about 18. He's probably a 15, 7, 16. So I win again. Congratulations.
The only numbers Rich are putting into the computer is 40-yard times. I mean, that's the only thing that's being clocked.
That's right. And usually my 5.96, my fastest time, is what I'm karting on a par 3 anyway. So, on average.
Didn't Brady run like a 5.96?
Brian was there for an important day for me.
What do you do?
Because we played together, and I knew the next time I was going to see Brian on a golf course was at the American Century Championship in Lake Tahoe, Nevada, where I was invited to play for the first time in 19 years. And I looked at Brian, and I'm like, I've got to take lessons. I cannot go out and play like this at Tahoe and at the American Century Championship, which, you know, I've learned is how you need to refer to it, not as the way I just did in Tahoe.
That's right.
Free shout out.
And Brian, you are such a nice guy. You're such a good dude. I knew exactly that my concerns were confirmed when you didn't go, oh, you absolutely need to do it. You're like, you know, you just like, you didn't want to push me. You nodded your head in agreement. Like, yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah.
You know, and I did. And I improved just enough to be tied for 88th in a 90-person field.
Here's the thing, Rich. You either win or you're DFL, and everyone else is just in the middle somewhere. So that's really what I always say. I'm in the middle somewhere. I don't know where I was. Just right there in the middle.
I know.
Did you have fun there?
We played together.
Did you have fun there?
Time of my life. You know that for sure. I mean, it's incredible. That event is beyond what you dream it could be or what it might be. It was beyond my expectations, and they were high to begin with. I had a blast.
What are the nerves, Rich, if you're admitting you're, you know, average player, bogey type player, and you got a hit and there's crowd lining up, and describe that moment.
Yeah, I was going off the first tee, and I was paired with The Miz, who I knew was right around my area of terribleness, and Matt Ryan, who's a 1. And so I just envisioned this moment for weeks, and on occasion would not be able to, when I woke up in the middle of the night, go back to sleep over my nerves about it. And I would just have to talk myself back to sleep by saying, it's the middle of the night. You're in California. This thing's weeks away. It's going to be in Tahoe. Well, you can't do anything about it now. Just go to sleep, you moron. Which is the way I talk to myself. But at any rate, I stepped up there and I thought, I'm just going to go, just take it easy, breathe. And I swung and I thought, I just looked right down the fairway and I'm like, where is it? And they said, you topped it. It's out of bounds, like literally 30 feet in front of you. And I totally wanted to have one of those, you know, want to get away moment where the trap door would open. And I just said, screw it. Just take a breath, do it. And I striked my next one right down the middle and got a nice, polite round of applause.
There you go.
And I remember walking up the first fairway with Matt Ryan, who had played multiple times in the American Century Championship, and he turns to me and he says, do you feel your hands again yet? And I'm like, no, I do not. And I'm like, does that happen to you? He says, they've just returned now. And I'm like, but you just hit your ball 300 yards. Like, his ball flight was perfect. Again, at this gorgeous course, Edgewood, his ball flight was perfectly framed on every shot by these mountains or trees or the lake itself. I wanted to take pictures every time he teed off. And he said to me that the first year he did it, he didn't feel his hands until the third tee box. He played 2 holes trying to get the feeling back in his hands because of his nerves. And I'm like, dude, you played in the Super Bowl. Like, you're an MVP of the NFL. It just shows you how golf is such a mental game. It's so different than anything else you could do, man.
I bet
Nothing
Matt
like
Ryan's hands would be running numb if he had to host Sports Center or get in front of the mic and talk for a long time. Look at
you,
know,
Cooper, man.
You know,
Look at you, man. Look at you. That's why you're the wisest
Team
man
player,
and the nicest.
Hey, this
Right
is
there.
for Brian and Rich. Are you guys getting paid every time you say American Century Championship?
He
Because
is.
I want to
I'm
get
not.
it. I want to
He
get
is.
in on that deal. I'll say it a lot.
I want to get his deal.
Oh, okay. By the way, this segment is brought to you by the American Century Championship
Nice, very
and
good.
the following sponsors. Who instilled in you the things that we now see manifest? All the, you know, like your storytelling and your attention to detail and your writing and everything.
I don't know. Great question. I have no idea. My parents were both New York City public school educators. My mom, kindergarten, and my dad, high school, French, also a college advisor. They really weren't into sports after the Dodgers left Brooklyn. To be honest,
It's quite
different
a
upbringing for
dry
me and you,
spell of
Cooper.
not liking sports. I mean,
Cooper, you and I had massively different upbringings.
neither of my parents attended kindergarten, so it works out fine.
There you go. I remember my mom attending her first game in the big house at the University of Michigan. I explained to her why there was a penalty for roughing the kicker. She goes, "You mean you can't touch the kicker?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's right." She goes, "Oh, I would have let you kick then." Like, that's the difference between your upbringing and mine. Okay.
Yes.
I did stand-up comedy in college at Michigan, which instilled in me quite a bit of fortitude and nerves, and storytelling, maybe in concise ways. So maybe that's all put it together.
I love hearing stand-up comedy stories. Any big night where you killed them and or had a rough one?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the rough ones, or do you remember the good ones?
Let me tell you, man.
Yeah.
So I'll give you the good first and then the bad. But the bad was a lesson. Good was every single month I did stand-up comedy in college. And this was in the from 86 to 90, and stand-up was a rage in the United States. I did it at the Student Union. It was a bunch of student comics opening up for an actual real professional comic that was touring in town. The most famous one that I opened for while I was there was Tim Allen, who we all know has gone into bigger and greater. The place, there was a line around the corner, and most of the people that were there were my peers, so it was a very welcoming crowd. My showstopper, which I ripped off from a friend of mine, or as Dan Patrick calls it, sampling, as you remember, Kenny. So I sampled the old Penthouse forums, the letters in the Penthouse magazines. I would read them in Howard Cosell's voice. And in 1986 to 90, that killed, man. Like,
That's
now
a
you have
funny
to
bit.
explain who Howard Cosell is. No matter what was in the copy, it would always start with, "I never really thought this could happen to me." I won't, for your audience, I don't want to work too blue, but I always ended it with the same thing, and it was a killer. It crushed. And one night my parents showed up, so I did the bit, and one time I said, "You get that, Mom?" The place fell down laughing. It was great. And the time where I bombed was when I thought maybe I should try this out professionally. Maybe I'm good enough to do this for a living. And I went on the road to nearby Livonia, Michigan, about an hour away, I believe. And I did a Saturday night in front of like 5 people. I was probably paid $25 and a hamburger, and I sucked, and it was tough. And I just realized I'm not cut out for this, and I needed to figure something else out.
You recently, after 20 years, came back to host Sports Center. What was that experience like for you? More
dream, man.
more feels than teeing off on hole 1 in a professional golf tournament.
A cold night in Livonia?
No.
Yeah.
By the way, that should be the name of my memoir, A Cold Night in Livonia, if I ever write one. No, there were no nerves. It wasn't nerves. It was just emotion, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. I mean, Kenny, you know what it's like to be at ESPN and then leave as well. And maybe not in the manner in which you wanted to, although your farewell show was spectacular. It was something I never thought would ever happen. And, when I got handed my cardboard box by ESPN, it was 9 days before my wedding. So we were thinking about starting a new life together, my wife and I, who I met in the newsroom at ESPN. So she knows all the players involved, and she knows all the executives involved, and she had a front row seat for everything. The, television marriage with Stewart, and then, Kenny, Stewart got so pissed when I tried to get the seat you got next to Dan. He was so pissed at me for not, looking at him like we were a great team. Like I wanted to join Dan in Keith's spot that you got. Mm-hmm. And so there was a lot of ups and downs and emotions through my 7 years, but I never wanted to leave and never thought I would leave. And I got handed a cardboard box. There was an empty table at our wedding. And then just 20 years of viewing ESPN as them. and everything that I was doing is us and trying to compete and beat. And now here I am being offered an opportunity to return as a partner because my show is licensed by them, and an opportunity to promote it by getting back in the chair that, I'll be honest with you, I kind of had pulled out from underneath me in a way that I didn't think possible.
Yeah, it's funny. All these years later, I think I'm learning this. I'm this many years old. I thought you simply saw the NFL opportunity was starting, and you're like, I'm going to go be that guy. I'm the pioneer. It was a hell of a move. Whatever happened, it was a great result.
No, well, the head of NFL Network was their old boss at ESPN, Steve Bornstein, who I keep on, telling him he's such a smart executive. He hired me twice. He refused to give me an offer until I was free and clear of ESPN. Because I don't know, he just wouldn't do it. And so I didn't. I that day when they handed me that cardboard box and said, we're done, I said, I want to do it with the old school music and the graphics. And, the producer with whom I was speaking said, that's interesting you say that, because we were talking about how when you start the show, we should have the lights down like the old school sports centers and bring them up when you start to say the hi, hello, which is the way that we'd always term to say the first welcome to Sports Center. And I'm like, great. So we're halfway there. Can you check out the music and the graphics? And I literally thought it would come back with somebody from the higher up the flow chart says this is just not the way we do Sports Center anymore. So you just can't do it. Instead, they were like, we got the music, we got the graphics. What else do you want? And as a matter of fact, here's the rundown. Take a look at it. They came up with the idea of doing a top 10 NFL moments since I last did a Sports Center. They found out, so they looked for some of the highlights I did back in the day. I had no idea. I did the highlight of Tom Brady entering his first game because Mo Lewis blew up Bledsoe on the sideline. I had no idea that I did that on a Sunday night Sports Center. We replayed that, and then we did a Did You Know at the end. And we just did it old school, and they leaned into it. And they even said to me, hey, there's room for another interview if you want to have an interview. I'm like, that's what I'm going to be doing, here on this show. Like, load me up with highlights. Let's go. And we did Little League highlights, and I did an open. I wrote it like back in the day. I loved it. And the reaction to it overwhelmed me. People saying like they were emotional about it because it reminded them of other days when they were younger, or the way Sports Center was back in the day, and I couldn't have loved it more. It was awesome, like a warm fuzzy.
Rich, Brian and I have been working now with Kenny for a couple months, and we've been to Scotland together. We've done shows, and I can't tell you how many countless times he says something so bizarre and so peculiar, and we look at each other and just have this like silent agree that we don't know what planet he came from. I'm just curious, does anything in your days together at ESPN shine about some of the irreverent moves of one Kenny Mayne?
Oh my God.
Please share.
Are you kidding me? You got to be kidding me. Oh my God. My favorite one, I remember, who was the tennis player, Kenny? Who was the one?
Are we going to go?
No, we're going
all the way.
Oh yeah, we go over the way. Who was it again? I forget who it was, but she was leaning down to serve, and a certain
Kournikova?
part of her.
She dressed herself that day.
Okay, and she's leaning over, and
Mary Pierce.
Mary Pierce. That was it. And he says Mary Pierce is down a set, although that doesn't appear to be the case right here. And that is my favorite Kenny Mayne line. Now, you always hear the finest meats and cheeses for everybody, or, games played inside of television sets, or all of that stuff. You'll hear the staple Kenny Mayne's. But the one when Mary Pierce is down a set, although that doesn't appear to be the case right here, is
gold.
Number one. Yeah. A chart topper.
I outdid that one, but not on TV. Not that long ago, my wife and I were at the sandwich place in West Hartford, and there's this family, a mom and a grandma, and there's this cute little kid, little 3-year-old, and it's so cute, and we're waving and being, peekaboo, the whole thing. And as we're walking out, I say, to the mom, and I'm trying to like say what a cute kid you have. I say, hey, thanks for the entertainment. And as we turn past her, she's now breastfeeding her other baby that I didn't know was there. Gretchen jumps in like, no, he loves children. He was talking about the other, where let's go, bye.
Yeah,
and we
buddy. Yeah.
never
That's a tough one. You can't come back from that one. Mariucci tells a story. By the way, he doesn't golf, but he's one of the greatest storytellers. Cooper, I don't know if you've been around Steve Mariucci enough. Truly one of the great. He tells a story when he was recruiting for Cal that he went to Minnesota in the winter one time to recruit a tight end, and he's in their living room, and the conversation is dragging. It's terrible. There's just no way this is going well. And the fire is roaring. This massive fire is roaring. And there's a cat on a mantle. And he just sees the cat on top of the fire, and it's looking nice and cozy. And just to break up the monotony, he points at the cat and he goes, wouldn't you want to be this cat right here, right now? And as everybody turned to look at the cat flipped over and started licking itself. And the way Mooch tells that story, he goes, anyway, I didn't get that kid. That's what that story sounds like to me. Like at the time, it worked out, and then circumstances when everybody swings their head around to look, not good for you.
We're back with Rich Eisen on the occasion of his mother's 88th birthday. Congratulations to her.
Shout out.
Thank you so much.
Shout out.
Here's one thing. When I think of the American Century Championship, which is often, and I journal about it, what I really think about, this has nothing to do with golf, but I just want to hear this story because Rich is a very good storyteller.
Yes, sir.
He's told this story. So we all had silly things we would do on SportsCenter that were absolutely inside jokes, sometimes with regard to three friends. It could be, but you'd say it so often that it became part of the vernacular, right? So Rich had this one, and it works for a lot of occasions. He got it. Yes. He got it. But there's a deep and great story behind that.
So when I was in grad school at Northwestern University, I went to Michigan 4 years and got a call from my newspaper editor at the Staten Island Advance in my hometown, where I was a summer intern for a couple of years. On graduation day, I got a job there. And I spent 3 years as a news reporter. Didn't want to do that anymore. Went back to grad school to be, hopefully what I am doing today, and went to the Medill School of Journalism. And for the final quarter of that year, I was in Washington, D.C. at their Medill News Service, where we would serve as Washington, Capitol Hill correspondents for small market television stations, using us for their TV stations to get a presence there in the nation's capital. And I was living with a bunch of my fraternity brothers from Michigan while there. I'm sitting there one day watching, I guess, what was Gretzky going for the all-time goals scored?
I thought it was a Cal Ripken thing, but just insert famous player doing something historic.
It was Gretzky trying to get the all-time goals scored record from Gordie Howe.
Very well.
Okay.
And we're watching ESPN. And one of my fraternity brothers named Dave Satlin, nicknamed Money, was dead asleep on the couch snoring to the point where we couldn't hear the broadcast. And Gretzky shoots, he scores. We all, me and the whole group of friends in the house were going crazy. My buddy Money wakes up, barely cracks his eyes, looks at the TV and goes, he got it, and rolled over and went back to sleep. And so, what guys do is they incorporate it in their lexicon for the rest of their lives. And for the rest of the week or the semester that I was with these guys in their house in Washington, D.C., hey, did you order the food? I got it. Did you get this? I got it. You got it. We all got it. Like, it was like that "What's Up" commercial, back in the day.
Yeah.
And I told the guys, because I was there for trying to live out my dream, that if I ever got to SportsCenter, because that was the goal, that was my goal, is to get on SportsCenter. That's why I was going back to school and trying to become a sportscaster. I would incorporate that phrase into my lexicon on the air. So I made it my home run call. And now, I also make it, when I call football games, my field goal call.
Oh, perfect.
From 50 yards out, he got it. Just lay in there. So that's my story. That's my inside story on that. And of course, I told that story recently when Ovechkin passed Gretzky, 22 some odd years later. It's kind of crazy. I have something for you guys. Kenny, you're going to love this. Because I cleaned out my office at home because
Old shot sheet.
Susie demanded. No, it's good. Well, it's actually perfect for this conversation on this podcast. Susie demanded I clean out the office, and so and I'm a pack rat. I don't know about you guys. I save everything. I can't throw things out. I just can't. I also don't know where to put these things, so I would just throw it in a box or it would start cluttering things up. But I found a bunch of stuff that I forgot that I saved, and I don't know why I did, but you'll love this. This is the course I belonged to when I was at ESPN. The Donald Ross Jewel? Remember Wampanoag Country Club? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, Wampanoag in, I think it's in West Hartford, Connecticut, right?
Yeah,
there
Bill
it is. Yeah.
Bill Pito, a member, the judge.
Oh, and I would play all the time with the best stick at ESPN, Buchagras.
Oh, he's good.
And if not the second best or the best, Carl Ravitch.
Michael Leaves is in the conversation. Michael Leaves.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, ridiculous.
I did not know that. I don't think I worked with Michael. I think I was gone before he arrived. Yeah. But Buchagras, the number of times I played with him and just kept him from playing his normal game because I was looking for my golf ball, and he was so nice. He couldn't have been nicer about it.
He's a teacher.
He's amazing. I loved playing with Buchagras. But here it is. Here's a day I broke 90. Since you said before I'd be excited to break 90. Yeah. You can't see it here, but I'll explain it to you. Here's an 89 with an exclamation point beyond next to it because I did break 90.
That's awesome.
And you could see the card. It says Rich, Linda, and Stewart.
Oh, wow.
And I played with Linda Cohn and Stuart Scott on that day. And you can also see I kept only two holes for Stewart. And it wasn't because Stewart was keeping his own card. It's because Stewart would have this way about him. And anybody who played golf with Stuart Scott will tell you. I'm sure you did, Kenny, although you didn't strike. I don't remember you playing much when we worked together at all. I don't know if this is a newfangled thing for you.
No, I played here and there, but not as much as now.
All right, but Stewart would have trouble counting his strokes accurately, significantly.
But he was dressed well.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Always. He always looked great, and he loved playing golf. My God, did he love playing golf. But the best part of his game wasn't the accurate counting of strokes. And you remember James Brown, who worked in the ad sales department, I believe?
JB. Good stories. He always was everywhere.
Awesome. Just a great human being. One of my favorite people. He's in Dubai
at a party right now, probably.
I'm sure he is. Yeah, exactly. Like he was the guy that you wanted to hang with him when we were on ESPN. Oh, my God. But anyway, so we're playing. He sets us up at golf one day, and he goes, we got to name this thing the Mediocre Masters. And I'm like, why? It was me, him, and Stewart. He goes, because Stewart, we got to tell him that there's stakes. Like there's some odd, like that we got to make it important and call it like the Masters, the Mediocre Masters. We're mediocre, but this is important enough where you have to count every stroke. And sure enough, we played, and Stewart off the tee, hit one right into white stakes. So we're like, hit another one. And he didn't. He goes, I'll find it. We go walk all the way down the fairway to the right is his ball in this massive meadow beyond these white stakes. And I'm like, there's no way we're finding this thing. He looks for about a minute and then drops a ball right there. And I'm like, Stewart, we'll wait for you, but you need to technically go all the way back there. You can't just, if there are red stakes, we can drop right here, but it's white. And I'm like, you got to go back there.
It's the mediocre Masters.
I was saying, JB was saying, yes, Brian, the same thing. And he goes, when they started the game of golf, were there white stakes or red stakes? That's what he said. And I'm like, are you telling me because Braveheart didn't have white stakes, you're not going to go back and hit from the tee box? Is that what you're saying to me right now, that in Scotland, when they were bored because they were done tending their sheep and created this stupid game, they didn't drive white stakes in the ground?
Rich, wow. you mentioned what I think probably was the worst shot of your career in golf at the American Century Championship. But I was curious.
Yes,
I assume that's the one that you kind of have nightmares about. But is there one shot that you recall that really was the highlight of the Rich Eisen golf career?
Oh, man. It was a national the year before, Brian, and I think I brought it up at dinner with everybody, and I certainly talked about it on this show. I was a par 3, and I topped it, and I didn't do very well at it. It was like, it's that hole on national, it's like a buck 30. So all you got to do is just flip a 9-iron or a wedge, depending on the wind. Just flip it and get it on. Just take a shot of Novocaine to the head. Just swing easy. Swing. Just put one easy wedge swing on a golf ball that you're normally not hitting off of a tee, and just do it. Like, this is my mindset as I pegged it up again. And when I pegged it up again on my mulligan, I damn near hold it out. Like I nearly like two-hand Dominique Wilkins slam dunked that thing directly in the hole, and you could see the ball mark that far away. And then, I did, in fact, putt for a 4. And so I asked everybody, like, what would you tell people if you hold it out on your mulligan that you just furiously put on the tee without anybody in your foursome agreeing? Like, yeah, sure, go ahead. We won't count it against you. Like, I just furiously, I cursed at myself, pegged it up, took a second, just swing easy, you moron. And I swung easy and nearly hold it out with what would have been technically the first ace of my life. Would it have been a hole in one, which is what I've now thrown to the group.
Would it be deserving of a, I got it?
Oh, it would be deserving of telling everybody I hold it out and just daring all the other 3 guys that I was playing with to call me out on it. That's for sure.
We have to take a quick break on this special edition of We Need a Fourth, brought to you by the American Century Championship.
What would you change about golf? Anything, any rule, anything about it at all?
That the ball doesn't listen to you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's just it doesn't seem to listen to you at all.
You want it to?
Yeah, I do. I think it would be helpful. The ball never ever listens to you.
We've never had that one before. I like it.
No, okay. So I'd love to change that about golf. If a ball that listens would be great.
That would be great. Although, how often are you there going, go, and then wait, stop.
Every time I chip, what else? I could keep going. You can keep coming up with scenarios, and I can tell you exactly when I say it.
Yield.
Who? Two-part question for me.
Yes.
The best celebrity golfer, the funniest celebrity golfer.
Oh, wow. Best celebrity golfer that I've played with or I've ever seen.
Either.
Funniest would have to be Jason Kelsey. My God. I'd really love to tee it up with him at the next American Century Championship, which means I guess I'd have to play with his brother too. So that would be great, both of them. But the best celebrity player I've ever seen, it's either Marty Fish or Steph, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say that?
I'd say Marty Fish.
Marty's great. My God. He's unbelievable.
Austin Reeves wants in that conversation.
Austin Reeves wants in that conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
Rich, my final has nothing to do with golf, as you could expect. I'm really happy for you, Susie, family,
Thanks,
your success, for real. Like you've done a bunch of cool things.
Thanks.
But our producer, Stewart, sends out these emails, and it's always like, hey, we're going to meet at this time, and Cooper, you check in because you're stupid and don't know how to use technology, or me, one of us. And they kept changing your time.
I know.
It was 3:30, then it was 3, and they would always read it. Rich's team would like to know if we could go back to 3:50 and then 3:05. We were fine. We were all good. But how big is your team? How many people do stuff for you Rich Eisen from Staten Island?
I don't know why Stewart would refer to my people as my team. I mean, Stewart knows I'm down to earth. I've got a publicist. And that's the person who you're dealing with.
Team.
That's about it. And I got people here. I mean, there are about 15 people who work on this show, grand total, all around.
Yeah.
And so I do have a team here on the show, but in terms of people, You're just lucky I didn't get my usual rider.
Yeah.
About demanding the temperature, certain temperature of water and things of that nature.
Hey, happy birthday to your mother. I know you got to go to get out to dinner with her. 88. Hope to see you at the American Century Championship or somewhere else.
Cooper, do you remember the first time we met?
The first time. Tell me.
It was in the Gatorade Suite in Houston, Texas. The Super Bowl between the Carolina Panthers and the New England Patriots, Tom Brady's second. You don't remember this?
Okay.
It was your whole family strolled into the Gatorade Suite, and I was singing karaoke with a friend of mine. And we sang karaoke that night till about 2 a.m. And I drunkenly went to your dad and said, I love my own father. That's the way I started this thing. I looked at Archie and I said to him, that's the way I started this thing. Trust me, I love my own father. I'm very happy with my family upbringing and who I am based on what they've done. But is there any way I could be technically the unofficial fourth Manning son? Is that possible? And your dad said yes. I don't believe he was drunk. It was early in the morning when this all happened. And whenever I am so fortunate enough to be texting with your father, he does start his text with son when he texts me.
That's pretty good.
You should know all of this, that I am technically an unofficial brother of you.
He did
Cooper.
mention to me the other day that I was his fourth favorite son, so I'm glad to know you're right where you need to be in the hierarchy.
What he was referring to. Now you do.
Yep.
So say hi to Dad for me, will you please?
I will, my friend. Thanks again for being a part of this. You're the best.
Always, anytime. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Rich.
All right, and if you want to do it again, reach out to my team. Okay.
He got it. Okay. Thanks, Rich. Happy birthday, Mom. We Need a Fourth is produced by SmartLess Media and Electric Avenue. Brian Baumgartner, Cooper Manning, Kenny Mayne, and Stuart Bailey are executive producers. Produced by Ann Harris and Kyle McGraw. Engineered by Kyle McGraw. Edited by Joshua Richmond. The associate producer is Maddie McCann. Executive producer for Electric Avenue is Marc Forman. Executive producers for SmartLess Media are Will Arnett, Jason Bateman, Sean Hayes, Richard Korson, and Bernie Kominski.